The Relationship That Changed Me Forever Part 2. So where I left off at is when I started to notice the shift in the relationship between me and Kima. And I'll just say when you're in love, you really don't notice stuff like that, and you don't really expect it because, like I said before, love is like blind, and you kind of deaf to certain things people tell you, and you just ignore all the signs, right? So when we got back from Puerto Rico, she went out every day after that. When I say every day, I'm talking about like every day. Um, One day she would come home at like 1 a.m. Next day she'll come at 2. Next day she'll come at 4. And then one day she didn't come home at all. She stood by her friend's house. But I did have her location, so I kind of knew where she was at. At the same time, it's like I'm not saying nothing because I'm so in love with her, and I'm thinking like, oh, she's doing, she's not doing anything like out of the norm. You know, she's probably just chilling with her friends. Her birthday month, she just wants to, have fun and chill and relax, right? So currently, I was staying at her mom's house after my lease on my apartment was up, in I think February it was. So I was staying at her mom's house for a while. Yeah, it was kind of dumb on my part. I should have left. I should have just went back to my mom's house. And you know, save up and then find another place. But during COVID, it was hard, to do all of that. But it is what it is. Worst decision I ever made. I tell men, don't live with a woman. Let a woman live with you. So it's like, if you have your own place and you want to invite her over, sure, yeah. But don't go live with her, because even if you go over there and you try to, pay all the bills and everything like that, it's still a weird dynamic. It's like you have to have your own, because at any time she can literally say, get out. Her name is on the lease, or that's her house. She owns it. She can literally kick you out if she wanted to, right? Certain states have different laws. I know New York, it's hard. Once she gets mail sent to the house, oh, it's over. So, yeah, that's besides the point. Don't do that again, though. I moved because she said she wanted closeness and she didn't want me to be far from her. And, I kind of just acquiesced to what she said and said whatever, right? So, back to where things started to take a turn for the worse. I would be at work asking when she's coming home. It sounds weird, I know. Because it's like I'm asking when you coming home back to your house, right? So I remember I was out training my clients, and she texted me saying we need to talk. I don't have that message anymore because it was like 5 years old, so it's not in my phone anymore. I think I deleted everything. I don't remember, but I don't have the messages because I like to show y'all proof. So when I was in the gym training my clients and I got the text, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm not thinking like, oh, she wants to talk about something bad. Well, technically not bad between us, but something bad in general. You know what I'm saying? So I remember leaving my clients, asking if she wanted pizza, and she said no, she's not hungry. I was so happy to leave to come home to her. I was just excited to see her. That's my girl. So I remember walking in when I got into the door, and she was watching TV. She did look a little down. So I asked her what was wrong, right? She told me to finish eating my pizza. Right? She said, finish eating your food. Now, I said, okay, I started eating. But then when I seen her face, she looked very sad. Now, if you're in a person in a relationship and you see your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, looking type sad, you're not going to really want to finish eating. You kind of want to know, yo, what's up, So I was asking her, and I remember she said, oh my God, I can't do this right now. She got up and went to the bathroom. Now, at that time, we were making YouTube videos. Yes, I was trying to do the YouTube couple shit 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And I was looking around the room to see if I seen any, like, her phone or a camera setup or anything like that. And I didn't. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? What does she want to talk to me about? What is so important that, I had to leave my clients to come? I mean, I didn't actually leave them, but I finished up. to like rush home to her to see exactly what was going on. So when she finally came back in the room, she sat on the bed, and this is when I was like, okay, either she's gonna play a joke and say, "Oh, I love you so much," and we're just gonna laugh, right? But I remember I didn't see any cameras set up. So after she came back in and sat on the bed, I told her, I was like, "Yo, talk to me." Um, she started off by trying to sugarcoat the whole conversation, saying it's not you, it's me. You're the best boyfriend ever. It's just that I didn't take time to myself in my last relationship. So me hearing all of this, I'm like, what? And I'm like, you know what? And I stopped her. I said, I'm not stupid. I was born at night, but not last night. I said, it's either one dude or multiple dudes who got your attention. That's when she got mad. She was like, oh, why do you gotta think it's a dude? Why, when I'm telling you it's me and I ain't take time to myself? And in my head, I'm just like, what the fuck? So she got upset and everything like that. And she told me, this is what really hit hard, right? She told me, she said, I felt like this for 6 months. Now, mind you, we only dated for about 11 months total. Well, you could say we were in a relationship for 11 months and we dated for maybe 1.5 months prior to that. So we only knew each other for a year, right? Give or take a year and a month, but that's pretty much it. So when she said she felt like that for 6 months, I'm like, I put the time together. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I said, she was like, yeah, I felt like this before I got the BBL and everything else. And I'm just like, nah, what the fuck is going on? You know? So I was like, you made me sit there and like fall in love with you and ask you, are you in love with me? And she said yes, and you didn't really mean it. And she told me, oh, I try to fight the urge. I'm like, fight the urge of what? Fight the urge of what? What urge is there to fight? You know what I'm saying? She was like, oh, I try to see if my feelings were valid, if I really did feel that way. So I'm like, nah, that's crazy. So she ended up telling me that, because when she was going out those days and not coming home till like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, she told me she went out with Morgan, her friend, and was like, oh, some dude tried to flirt with me. And I said, okay. She said, and I flirted back. And I said, what do you mean? She's like, they called us over to the section and we went over. And I said, okay. She's like, oh, and he asked for my Instagram. I said, so? She said, and I gave it to him. So I'm telling myself, whatever she says, like, find a solution to it. Because I don't want to lose my girl. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, so just unfollow him. She's like, Zach, you're not understanding. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, remember that time I went out with my sister? And I was like, yeah, that's the white dress I was telling you, and the shit was tight as hell and high heels and her butt was poking out and everything. She was like, the waiter was flirting with me. And I said, okay. She said, and I flirted back. And I said, okay, did you get his number? She's like, no. So I'm still trying to ignore everything she's telling me, but she's trying to tell me in a sugar-coated way, like, nigga, I don't want you no more. And my dumbass is still sitting there like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like a dumbass. So when she's telling me all of that, she's like, Zach, you don't get it. I'm like, get what? She's like, I have the urge to cheat. Yeah, she did tell me that. I have the urge to cheat. So that hit home, right? That was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm really losing my girl to the streets? Like, the streets called her and the bitch picked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit fucked my head up. So after that, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to hear it. I'm going to go in the shower. So I went in the shower and I was being petty. I bring my speaker in there and I was playing A Boogie Timeless. If y'all know, y'all know. If you don't know the song A Boogie Timeless, go listen to it right now. Pause the video, go listen to it and come back. So I was playing that in the shower. When I got out the shower, she was like, really? I'm like, what? She's like, you want to play A Boogie Timeless? I'm like, well, you don't want me, right? So I'm trying to be passive aggressive, trying to make a joke out of it. So I was getting ready to lay down. I laid down next to her because I had to go to work in the morning. That's when I'm still working in the hospital. And I remember laying down next to her, and one of our homegirls that we both cool with, she had put something on Instagram about like relationships or some shit like that. And I said, oh, look at the irony. And I showed it to her. Yo, she got tight. She's like, get out. I'm like, what? She's like, get out right now. She's like, I feel like being to myself tonight. I'm like, where's this coming from? She's like, nah, leave. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, off of an Instagram post that somebody else did. She's like, I just feel like I'm annoyed. I feel like being to myself tonight. So I said, okay. So I put on my clothes and stuff like that. Remember, I had my blue New York Yankee fitted, right? Well, fitted snapback. And that's the last thing I put on. And when I put it on, that's when I had hair still. I turned around and looked at her by her room door, and I said, yo, tell me you don't love me. Shorty did not say nothing. I said, damn, all right. And I walked out. So I walked out and I took the long way to take the bus, right? Yes, I'm taking a bus. I live in Berkeley and it's easier. You know what I'm saying? I was going to take an Uber, but I had a plan in mind because I didn't want to get into the Uber and then, I'm home quickly, right? Because I didn't live that far from her, right? The Uber would have been like a 15-minute ride. So I took the bus to Stall. So I went to the bus stop. Mind you, this is like 11:30 at night. And I took the long way, and then I waited by the bus stop, and I'm waiting. I'm like, she gonna call me back and say, babe, I'm sorry, come back type shit. Bro, I waited for a whole 45 minutes. Shorty did not. I waited for like 6 buses passed. What, like 3 buses passed. Finally, I was like, you know what, fuck it. The next bus come, I'm gonna get on. Bro, as the next bus was coming, she texted me, said, let me know when you get home safely. I said, bro, what the fuck is going on? So I get home, I'm irritated, I'm tight. I'm like, nah, somebody done got my bitch attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really irritated. So I cooled out that night, woke up the next morning, I'm texting her. I'm like, yo, you don't want to lose us. I'm sending her pictures and videos of us. I'm like, yo, I know you still love me. Don't give up on us and everything like that. And I'm just going through different scenarios in my head. Mind you, like I said, I'm still sharing locations with her, right? So I noticed when I was literally in my room right now, and I'm laying on the bed. Mind you, I have my son too. My mom's home. So I told my son, I'm like, oh, just chill downstairs, he watching TV, because I just felt like being in my room by myself. And then I end up dozing off for maybe like an hour. And then I hear my phone, like the text message come through. And then I sent her a picture and then she replied back to it. And then I seen, y'all know if you share locations with somebody, y'all know when you see the message, such and such stop sharing locations with you. Yo, when it said Kima stop sharing locations with you, my heart, but I did have her as my wife, so it said my wife stopped sharing locations. My heart right here dropped in my fucking stomach. I'm like, what the fuck? That's when I started thinking, like, nah, she's really done with me. Like, cooked. So it's about maybe 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Evening time. And it's still bright outside because it's still warm, summertime. And that's when I noticed, I was like, yo, something is really wrong. And then I texted her back. I said, why you stop sharing locations with me? And she was like, oh, I'm ignoring everybody. Even my sisters hit me up and I'm ignoring her too. So I'm like, all right. That's when I put on some clothes. I asked my mom, I was like, yo, can you watch my son real quick? Clearly her grandson. And I said, nah, I got to go get my bitch back. I'm not about to lose her. You know what I'm saying? So I got on the bus and I'm thinking, I'm on the bus, I'm contemplating. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, why all of a sudden, like, she want to stop sharing locations with me? Things is not going the way it's supposed to go. So I tried on the bus trying to log into her Instagram. So I can't remember the password because she usually used her password for like everything. I knew because when we made like the YouTube channel, we shared the password and I had a password to her stuff. She had the password to my stuff. So we was like open and honest. So I thought. So I'm on the bus and I end up logging into her Facebook with the same password she always used. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I noticed she had two Facebook accounts. One like a burner account and then her other regular one. So I didn't see anything of importance, so I logged out. So I'm like, why the fuck does she have two Facebook accounts? Like one, like a fake one and her actual one. So I'm starting to think, I'm like, damn, like, what was she doing? So I'm closely approaching her crib now. So I'm getting off the bus, still trying to log in, can't find nothing. I'm like, all right, whatever. So when I get to her crib now, I open the door, I go upstairs, I go into her the house, and then I go into her room. When I open the room, it's like her clothes were scattered everywhere, and then the dog was running around. Yes, we had a dog. I didn't tell about the dog because I didn't think it was that important, but we did have a dog together. Some old girl that liked me was selling the dog. We ended up buying it for like $900 or something like that, give or take. Like, it doesn't matter. And we ended up naming him Token. Shout out to Token if you're still alive. And yeah, we had a dog together. So when I opened the room door, and her makeup was scattered like by her vanity mirror, and clothes is like all over the floor. So I'm like, what the fuck? Did the dog do this? But I kept telling myself, keep hope alive, Zach. Yo, she probably just went to the store. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe she's at her friend's house. That's all I'm thinking. Keep hope alive. So I went in, I sat down, the dog's going crazy. I sat on the bed. I'm like, yo, where the fuck could she have went? So me thinking that through, I said, you know what? I'm gonna wait here. So I took up her phone. No, she had an old iPhone 8 and she had it like on her nightstand, right? So I took up the phone and I said, let me turn it on and go through it, right? I didn't think nothing of it. So I turned it on and then it had no service. It only works with Wi-Fi, right? So when I turned it on, some messages was going through, and then I went to the messages. I ain't seen nothing of importance. And the worst thing I ever did. Listen, y'all. This is the worst thing I ever did. Well, I would say the worst thing. It was the best thing because then I found out. Bruh, I clicked on the Instagram. And then I seen the messages going through. And I clicked on the first person in her DMs. Before I did that, I checked the profile. They weren't following each other. You know what I'm saying? So I guess to keep it discreet, to keep communicating with each other while her being in a relationship, and I wouldn't notice, they didn't follow each other. That fucked me up. So when I pressed it, I didn't see nothing crazy at first, but all I seen was, yo, when you gonna be here? He said, 5 minutes. Okay, what car you driving? I'm in the white car. Okay, I'm outside. All right, I'm coming. Bruh, that shit fucked me up. That's when my heart dropped in my stomach and it went straight to my ass. I don't know for anybody who ever been in a relationship with somebody and you love them dearly and you find out they're cheating. Oh boy, you feel like you got a shit. You got bubble guts. And then you feel like the room is spinning. You're like, oh, nah. Because I'm not expecting this. Yes, I have been through toxic relationships in the past. Like I said, I've been married. That was toxic. And just, man, other shit, right? So this happened. It fucked me up so bad because I got blindsided. Even though she told me the day before she doesn't want this relationship no more, I still couldn't believe it because I told myself, Zach, you did everything right. What the fuck happened? So after seeing that, I'm scrolling up. Another bad thing I did was when I started scrolling up, I seen old sex videos of them. I thought it was new, but then when I looked, I was like, all right, she don't have her butt done in these. But it was like a video of her in the shower, sex videos of them, him saying, babe, did you ever go here? She's like, nah. He's like, I'm gonna take you here. So they're having a full-blown conversation while she's still in a relationship with me. Because these messages was like a month ago. Or even sooner. But remember, I went to Puerto Rico with her. So while I was on the trip with her in Puerto Rico, and you remember when I told y'all in part 1, when she left to still go out by herself in Puerto Rico, she was writing this nigga. I took my girl out on a trip, paid all that money for her to be talking to some other dude. When I found out, because this is the bitch shit I did. I admit I'm a bitch. My ex, if she ever sees it, I admit I was a bitch ass nigga for doing this. I was so upset. I didn't know what to do. I let my emotions get the best of me. I screenshotted everything. Well, I didn't screenshot everything because I couldn't send messages from that phone, but I screenshotted everything. No, not screenshot. I took a picture of everything with my phone, and I made a group chat of her friend Morgan, the fat gorilla bitch Damo, another homegirl of mine, I'm not going to say their name, and another homegirl of mine that we all know each other from when I used to have my own apartment. And I made a group chat, and I sent them the videos, especially the explicit ones, of her getting freaky with her ex. And I said, look what your friend did. And then some of them was like, oh my God. Damo fat gorilla ass started laughing at me. And I'm like, yo, what's so funny? She said, Zach, you know who that is? And I said, no, I don't. She said, you do know who it is. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She said, that's her ex. I was like, who's her ex? She said, Travis. Then she said, he lives across the street from your baby mom. Nigga, what? So, come to find out, flashback real quick, my baby mom knew Kima before I did. My son, she knew my son before she knew me. Small fucking world, especially when you live in Brooklyn. So going back when Damo said that, I said, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. She's like, yeah. So I did my due diligence and I was like, okay, I know where the fuck my baby mom live. And this is when men, and this is why I keep telling women and men, listen to what I'm saying. There's dudes out there who don't give a fuck about consequences. When I say they don't give a fuck about consequences, they will shoot you in your fucking face over a bitch. See, I'm different. I know, like, once a bitch start being choosy, I'm out of there. You know what I'm saying? Not this situation. But I was one of those niggas who at that moment, I didn't give a fuck about nothing. I didn't give a fuck about shit. You gonna take my bitch on my watch, nigga? Even though that was his bitch prior to me, and it's really nothing I could have did. But I called my mans, and I was like, yo, 9/11. If y'all know what that means, I know what it means. But I said, yo, 9/11. And then he was like, what? And I kept calling his phone, but he was with his son. But then he still did me the favor. I said, yo, 9/11, I need you right now. Pull up with the V. And I said, I'm about to go on a hunt. So when he called me, I explained a little bit. He was like, what? He was like, Kima? No way. Because everybody thought me and her relationship was like, man, good. So he was like, all right, give me a few. So this is another bitch shit I did. And a lot of people don't know this. A lot of men not going to believe this. And a lot of people going to say, Zach, what the fuck? This is why I said this relationship changed me forever. I don't demonize women anymore. I understand the difference of being in a healthy relationship and not being in a healthy relationship. Know when to call it quits and know when to stay. And this is what I did. So after I made that group chat, you know, some of them laugh. I remember Morgan texted me back, was like, oh, you lame ass nigga, what you trying to do, revenge porn? I was like, are you dumb? How am I trying to do revenge porn when this nigga's sending the videos to her and I'm just sending it to you? But that's besides the point. I went to the mom's door and I knocked on the mom's door and I started crying, bro. Not like, oh my God, like, oh my God. Not like somebody dying, but I started tearing up. And I'm like, yo, Miss Jackson. I said, yo, why would your daughter do this? Why would your daughter do this? And I said, look, and I showed her like a little bit of the explicit video. I was like, yo, she's talking to some dude and they sending back explicit videos to each other. And the mom looked at me and she was like, really? And I'm like, yo, I can't find her. Like, I'm trying to call her. I don't know where she's at. She's like, oh, let me call her. So she picked up the phone and called her a couple times. She's like, she's not answering. And I said, I know, I'm trying to, we share location. Then the mom gonna say some stupid shit. The mom gonna say, isn't it illegal to do this? I'm like, how? I was like, she has my phone. Like, I'm literally paying your daughter's phone bill. Like, yes, I was paying her phone bill. She was on my line. Yeah, see, I was being a good nigga. But anyway, don't do that unless that's your wife. So yeah, I was paying her phone bill and everything, looking out for her. And the mom was like, oh, I don't think you should do this anymore. I was like, do what? She's like, oh, go through her phone. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm trying to find your daughter. You know what I'm saying? If you go to me and say, yo, Zach, where Kim at? And I say, I don't know. You're going to be like, nigga, how you, your boyfriend, don't know where the fuck she at? So I'm trying to tell you, I don't know where your daughter is at. Maybe you can call her. You know what I'm saying? So that transpired, but Men, y'all gotta understand, even women too. The parents are most of the time gonna side with their child. You know what I'm saying? That's like my son coming to me and like, yo, dad, like if my girl call you, even though my son is 11, if my girl call you, hold it down. I'm gonna stick with my son's side, even though I'm gonna correct him. I'm like, yeah, don't do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let him know, but I'm still gonna stick up for my son. So I was mad that the mom is not understanding where I'm coming from, but that's her mom. Why the fuck would she not take her side? You know what I'm saying? She could have been shooting up the school. She's still gonna take her daughter's side. She'd be like, she had a valid reason. So I kind of ignored the mom after that, and I was tight. Tears went back in my eyes. So I was like, there's no point in crying. Went back in the room, waited for my mans to pull up. My mans finally pull up. So this is where the parts are getting crazy. I go outside. I explained to my mans real quick. He was like, yo, he got to do something for his mom. But he said when he get the other V, I can take that. And I was like, all right, cool. So we went to go do something real quick. I got the car, his mom's car, and he took the other V. And then, no, he took his car, and then he took his mom's V. So I had his V, right? I get in the car, and I'm on the hunt. So what I do was we pull up together. We pull up to where I thought they were going out. So you remember the DMs that I've seen? And he ended up sending a picture of a place. So I thought that's where they went to go eat. So I pull up to that spot. And I look like I ain't gonna front. I had my New York blue Yankee fitted on. And I was dressed in like, I forgot what I had on. But I just looked like an undercover cop, right? So when I walked into the spot, I went to one of the waiters and I said, yo, you seen this girl? And I took the most recent picture of her. And they was like, nah, I didn't see her. And I was like, can you ask another waiter? So he called somebody else over. I was like, you seen this girl? She was like, nah, I didn't know. Nobody came here and stuff like that. They was like, you could check in the back. So I check in the back real quick. I don't see nobody sitting there or nothing. Mind you, my mans took a while to pull up. So I don't know, like, if they left the spot, went somewhere else. I don't know. If they changed plans, I don't know. So when I get back in the V, not knowing this, right? So my dumb ass being emotional, when I made the group chat, all right. So one girl started sending Kima messages like, yo, Zach looking for you. Where you at? This, that, and the third. So come to find out, she know now. You know what I'm saying? So what I did now was I turned off her phone. Because remember, I'm paying the phone bill. I control the whole service. So I turned the phone off so she can't get messages unless she's on Wi-Fi, right? So people are trying to inform her like, yo, Zach trying to look for you, this, that, and the third. So I end up pulling up by my baby mom crib. Remember when Damo said, yo, he live across the street from your baby mom? I'll pull up over there. Mind you, I'm heated. I'm on hot. I'm ready for all the smoke, everything. I'm ready to crash the fuck out. Like, go to jail. Stupid, right? I know. So I'm waiting there and stuff like that. I'm waiting for the message to come in and shit like that. So she finally called me and she was like, oh, what happened? I said, what the fuck you mean what happened? Right? So I'm driving because I end up leaving. I don't see nobody by the crib or anything like that. I don't see the white car or anything. I'm driving and then she was like, oh, what happened? I was like, what the fuck you mean what happened? I said, where the fuck you at? She's like, I'm out. I said, where the fuck you at? She said, I'm out. I said, who the fuck you with? She's like, with a friend. I said, who the fuck you with? She said, Travis. She said the nigga name. I said, get the fuck out of here. I said, you dead ass? She said, yeah, you don't understand. I said, I don't give a fuck. And then she's like, you don't get it. So she's talking loud. Mind you, I didn't know she was in front of this nigga. They in the car. I said, wait, you got me on speaker right now in front of this nigga? So she said, yeah. I said, yo, bring your ass home right now. I'm livid. You know what I'm saying? So I hang up. And then I think I called my bro back. And I said, yo, meet me by her crib. Because he know where her crib at. And he up the block. I end up pulling up. No, I didn't get there yet. She ends up calling me. Because I'm still circling, spinning around, checking different areas and stuff like that. She ends up calling me. Oh, I'm home. Can we talk? She video chats me from Instagram because she needed the Wi-Fi. I turned the phone off. I said, what? I said, I'm pulling up right now. I end up pulling up back to her block. She come running outside. She's like, can you please? No. This is exactly what she said. She said, my mom said she wants the keys back. I said, I don't give a fuck about these keys. I took the keys off the keychain and I threw it in the air. I'm walking into her crib because I threw the keys outside. I'm walking into the crib now. I'm going upstairs and I'm being respectful, but I'm still heated, right? I see the mom. I said, Miss Jackson, all I want to do is get my belongings and I'm going to leave. I'm not going to cause any trouble or anything like that. She says, okay. I go in her room and then that's when she come in. She's like, Zach, can we please talk? I didn't do anything. This is exactly what I said. I said, you fucking dirty ass, slut ass bitch. You dirty ass fucking whore. You fucking piece of shit. I should punch you in your face right now, but you're not worth me going to jail. That's exactly what I told her. I was so fucking angry. I said, yo, I feel like, I said, but you're not fucking worth it. So I just started collecting my things. Mind you, I had mad clothes over there. This is what I tell y'all niggas. Don't live with a bitch. Let the bitch live with you. Don't ever do that. So anyway, I'm getting all my stuff together and stuff like that. And she started to cry a little bit. She's like, please let me, I don't want to hear nothing. So I'm taking my stuff one by one, throwing it in the suitcase, and then bringing it to the car. Getting black garbage bags and everything. So I remember when I did the first 2 trips, I'm coming back. I see Shorty helping me. I said, what the fuck you doing? She's like, I'm helping. I was like, yo, man, move. So I'm tight because I don't want her to help me pack my shit to leave. I want her to pull me in and say, nah, let's work on this. That's the stupid me talking. Because I'm like, I'm about to forgive you when you was with your ex. Fuck out of here. I'm stupid. So after I do all that shit and she's helping me. She's like, oh, you want these sneakers? I said, I don't want them shits. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yo, put them shits in the bag. And then she was like, oh, you want this Dior Savage cologne? I don't want that shit. She's like, you sure? I was like, put that shit in the bag. So everything she asking me, I'm like, why the fuck you helping me? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you supposed to be on your knees begging for me to stay. She really don't want me. You know what I'm saying? So eventually I told myself, yo, Zach, yo, you're doing all of this and she's still wanting you to get the fuck out. You gotta reverse the play, bro. So when I finally get most of my stuff, there's still stuff that I had left over there because I was so angry. She finally came back outside. She's like, Zach, can we please just talk? I said, yo, you got 5 minutes. That's when I told myself, I was like, Zach, you gotta just do it because you're gonna lose her regardless. So I said, you got 5 minutes, sit in the car. So she sat in the front seat. I had all the clothes in the back seat of my bro car. And I sit in the driver's seat. And then she was like, Zach, you don't understand. Like, I try to tell you. She was like, me and my ex, we still cool. And he was going through something. And this is what I told her. I said, I don't give a fuck if that nigga mom's is dying. You're my girl, not his. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah, but me and him still cool and this, that, and the third. So she basically trying to vouch for this nigga. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So after she said all that, that's when I started saying, I'm like, Zach, you're going to push her away because you're too aggressive. Calm the fuck down. So when she did all of that when she said all of that, I'm just like, you know what? I said, yeah, whatever you did, I can forgive you. She looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, yeah. I was like, yo, babe, I know I haven't been consistent and stuff like that. So I'm confessing my love and telling her sorry for nothing I did wrong. I'm just not trying to lose her. This is how fucking delusional some niggas could be when they're in love with a fucking whore. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because it's not even really about the pussy. It's just the bond we build type shit. I didn't want to lose that. So when I said all of that, I started begging. I was like, yo, babe, please, let's go back inside. Let's fix this. Like, she's like, you can't go back in I said, fuck it. We could go to a hotel. We could go somewhere else. You could just chill. We could talk things out. And listen, y'all. I started to beg. You know what I'm saying? So before I finished my conversation, the ex had called her phone. Mind you, he called her on Instagram because the service is still off. And he was like, yo, I forgot my keys in your bag. His car keys was in her bag. So she was holding his car keys. So he was like, yo, I'm pulling back up. She was like, nah, don't. Like, he's here type shit. So he's basically saying, like, I don't give a fuck. So I'm talking, I'm like, nigga, you could pull up. He said, yo, I'm bringing that thing. And I'm like, yo, things is on deck right here too. So what's up? I'm being YouTube friendly, but when you know what I'm saying, dang, you know what niggas is talking about, right? So when I said all that, he's saying all that, I'm like, yo, nigga, so what's up? So I'm heated. She was like, nah, nah, nah. I don't want y'all fighting. You gotta leave, Zach, this and the third. So I'm begging. Yo, I'm begging her. I said, yo, babe, please, 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 stay. And this is when the relationship changed me forever. She said, nigga, stop. You're making my pussy dry. Oh my God. Yo. When she said that, yo, thinking about it just fucks my head up when she said that shit. I never heard a woman say, stop, nigga, you making my pussy dry. I literally, when she said that, I looked at her and I grabbed both hands on the steering wheel and I just looked straight and I got numb. She's like, Zach, we're done. I can't be with you no more. I just want to go inside and I want to be with my friend Morgan. I have a lot to talk about. I want to give him back his keys and that's it. She felt kind of bad though, because she looked at me. She's like, oh, you okay? And all I did was shake my head. And she said, I'm going inside now. And then I think she tried to give me a hug. I don't remember, because from after that, everything was blurry. She got out the car. She went back upstairs. I watched her go in. Bro, to this fucking day, I don't know how I got to my bro's crib with the car. I did not turn on no music. The windows were all the way down. I drove straight to my bro's crib from East New York all the way to Queens. If y'all know, y'all know. And I don't know how the fuck I got there, bro. I was like zoned the fuck out the whole ride. Like I didn't feel like I was there. I didn't feel like I existed. That's how fucked up and traumatized I was. And then I remember when I got to my bro and he asked what happened, I said, yo, we done. And I hang my head down. He said, yo, just help me take your stuff out the car. I took the stuff out the car. I put it in his mom's car because he said, yo, we got to switch cars because his mom needs the V. And then he drove me back to my crib and I was quiet. I remember taking out my bags out his V. And then I open my, I pull it up my mom's steps and I open the house door. Cause I called my mom cause she didn't know, you know what I'm saying? No, I didn't have my keys then. I called my mom, I said, yo, open the door, I'm coming back. She opened it and then I said, I don't feel like talking. And then I bring all my stuff in. Suitcases, 2 suitcases and like 3 garbage bags full of clothes and sneakers. And then I sat right in the living room and I just started crying, bro. Cause it's like, you invested so much to get back to fucking square one. And that's why this relationship changed me forever. Cause I told myself I would never be like that again. And not to say like I'll never love a woman, but I always understand that women are loyal to their emotions, bro. At any given time, a woman feels like, yo, I don't want to be with you no more. She's going to act on it. She's going to act on it, bro. There's nothing you can do. Women are loyal to their emotions, bro. And I felt so dumb sitting there and saying like, yo, you know, I can make this work. And I was willing to forgive a woman for cheating because technically she did cheat. To this day, I don't know if she was fucking the dude in the car. He took her to the crib and fucked her. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know if they really, but when she went out, she was looking so fucking good. I was so upset with myself. I'm like, damn, bitch, you look so good going out with this. I was just so cooked in my head. That's why I tried to beg for her to stay because I didn't want to lose it. I feel like I invested so much. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro. And, yo, that shit fucked me up for a while. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, yo, get over that bitch, this and the third. Bro, I was cooked. For real. Because I remember after that situation, I had a fight coming up. So I really tried to distract myself from training and everything and cutting weight. I had to lose fucking 25 pounds. I did it because I wasn't eating and I wasn't sleeping properly. I ended up losing that fight though. It doesn't matter. I was just so focused. I was like, damn, she should have been here with me. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm glad that it happened. As weird as it sounds, I'm glad because it really slapped me back into reality. Just saying, yo, Don't think your bitch can't get fucked. Don't think your bitch can't get fucked. Don't ever think that. Don't think, oh, I'm doing everything right. Nobody can take my girl. Nah, if she want to get taken, she gonna get took. Period. If your girl want to get taken, she gonna get took. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, this is my story. Part 2. I hope I gave all the details. It's funny because I wrote down the script, but me talking about it right now, I just remember it so vividly. I don't even need the script no more. I just straight on. There's more stuff that happened after that, but it's not important because we never got back together. I tried to get her back still by texting her and calling her. Nothing happened, and that was it. But shout out to her though. You know, shout out to all my exes. Every woman that I'm talking about on these, YouTube videos, shout out to all of them because y'all give me experience. Y'all make me understand like, all right, boom, this is where I fucked up at. Because I'm not even going to blame y'all for being the type of people y'all are. I'm going to blame myself for allowing that shit to happen to me. You feel me? So shout out to all my exes. I have another one coming about my second to last relationship that I was in because I'm single right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it.